Well, well, well. We all suspected that EA's cynicism knew no bounds, didn't we? But now we have it in writing. In an article for CBC, we get an insider's view on what EA are doing, and we actually get to see some leaked documents. And even though we all suspected this, the documents are still quite shocking. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through a little bit of this article, and then we'll have a look at the documents, and then we'll have a look at what EA say about it, and then I'll tell you what I think about it, and you can probably guess that. But this is what the article says. A gaming insider says an internal company document proves video game giant Electronic Arts is trying to drive players into a type of gameplay that encourages them to spend more money and which has come under fire for possible links to gambling. The leaked 54-page document comes from the company's sports division in Barnaby, BC, where a team works on EA's hugely profitable FIFA soccer games. It appears to be a presentation featuring numerous slides with bullet points about the release of FIFA 21 and was shared internally. And this is the document in question. And let's have a look at this because this is quite interesting. 5 things you need to know. We have more active players. That's okay. And then it gets into the interesting bit as soon as we get to part 2. The team is squarely focused on engaging current players through mid-September. Then 3. Players will be actively messaged and incentivized to convert throughout the summer. That's to convert to FUT, FIFA Ultimate Team, that is. And then it says this. FUT is the cornerstone and we are doing everything we can to drive players there. They're doing everything they can to drive players towards FIFA Ultimate Team. It says the return of football is only going to help us and plans are ready to flex. Whatever the hell that means. Corporate speak. But it gets even more interesting. The catalyst, the return of real-world football. Returning league play will boost our ability to tie into the real world and excite players with FIFA Ultimate Team content to reflect what's happening on the pitch. All roads lead to FUT. Content teasers and targeted Aruba messaging will drive excitement and funnel players towards FIFA Ultimate Team from other modes. So everything within FIFA is going to be designed to push people towards FIFA Ultimate Team. And FIFA Ultimate Team is where EA make all their money. A welcoming experience, updated FIFA Ultimate Team welcome pack content to kickstart experience so new players can hit the ground running. Yeah, in other words, it's to suck them in. Compelling campaign assets for in-game and out-of-game marketing to amplify summer heat and expand our reach. Again, this is trying to funnel people into FIFA Ultimate Team and then keep them there. All roads lead to FUT. Commercial and 1P support, exploring cross-platform deep discount aligned with summer heat content and assets to drive consistent player journey from POS through FIFA Ultimate Team conversion. As you're seeing it here from the horse's mouth, from EA themselves, everything here is designed to drive their own words, players towards FIFA Ultimate Team. It's basically designed to push them into FIFA Ultimate Team, keep them there, and keep them spending. That's what it says. If we go back to the article, let's have a look what the insider says. The insider says, we can't really do anything about it because at the end of the day, the company is trying to make money and satisfy investors. And this is a problem here because they are, as a company, their job is to make money. So if they find a way that makes money easily, that's where they're going to go. And that's the problem with this. The problem here is that FIFA Ultimate Team makes bucket loads of money. And of course, investors are going to keep wanting that gravy train. But anyway, it says, it goes on to say, based on annual reports, the Californian-based multinational company earned $1.49 billion US in 2020 from loot boxes in its sports titles alone. So you can see what the incentive is for this. FIFA Ultimate Team and other Ultimate Team versions within other sports games earns them bucket loads of cash, as I've already said. And then the insider says, you can play without spending $1, but you'll learn it takes a long time to earn coins and you'll get frustrated pretty fast. And that's the point. We go back to what it says here. All roads lead to foot. Content teasers and targeted Aruba messaging will drive excitement and funnel players towards foot from other modes. As I keep saying, they're being pushed towards it, and they're being kept there, and they're being encouraged to spend. Loot box modes are optional, which I find these highly amusing. It says, grinding in video games is slang for doing the same monotonous task over and over again to the point where it's no longer fun, said the insider. It seems like EA games are designed to be boring and to be a grind and to encourage people of all ages to spend money on card packs. Now that's his opinion, and you can disagree with that if you like, but I agree with him. It says, for years they've been able to act with a layer of plausible deniability, the insider said. Yet in their internal documents they're saying, this is our goal. We want people driven to the card pack mode. Exactly. We want people driven to the card pack mode. All roads lead to foot, or FIFA Ultimate Team. All roads lead to FIFA Ultimate Team. That's their own words. Their own words. And they're being damned by them. And this, if we look here, there's a player here, Jonathan Pennicott, 22. He says, I started using card packs as a way to cope at a time when I felt so unhappy in my life as a whole, when so many difficult things were going on, he said. I could essentially buy a little rush of happiness. And that's how addiction works, isn't it? That's what you do. You try and get yourself away from the crap that's going on in your life, and you find something that gives you a little rush of endorphins or whatever it might be. And so next time you go back and you do it again. And before you know where you are, you've spent a bucket load of money. Like he says here, he says, I spent over 5,000. I spent 5,000 money his family had given him for his future before getting help. It says that here. Let me just highlight that. He goes on to say, FIFA players have thought that's their strategy for a long time, but it's still shocking to actually see a document from within EA stating it in writing. They are driving everyone towards the casino, basically. And yeah, exactly. And I'll say it again. All roads lead to FIFA Ultimate Team. And it is extremely cynical and worrying because there are links with gambling. If we just go down here, it says more data transparency is needed. So they're saying that EA and other companies need to give us more information, and they need to let researchers have the information so they can actually work out what's going on here. And I would say that personally, I think it's important, and I think that government agencies should be forcing these companies to give this information. As the guy says here, David Zendel, his name is, he says, every single time we look for it, we find some relationship that's between loot boxes and gambling. The people who spend heavily on loot boxes tend to have high levels of problem gambling. And he goes on to say whether the loot boxes lead you to gambling or whether you've got a tendency to be a gambler will lead you to spend more money on loot boxes is, but again, we need the research on this. He says, I think you just need to eradicate the monetization of it, allow players to earn coins in game and let them spend these coins on card packs. And that would be fine. If it's all kept in game and you're not spending real money, that's fine. He then goes on to say, don't let them open their wallets on this stuff. Exactly. And then, you have to understand with this that this is not a game that is just played by adults. It would be bad enough that adults were being FIFA, filtered or led into FIFA Ultimate Team at every single opportunity, at every single chance the game gets. They lead you down that path. As an adult, that is something that is difficult for some people, and it does need to be regulated to stop that happening. But you have to factor in that EA's FIFA games and their other sports games are marketed at kids. The age range on FIFA in the UK is 3 and up. 3 and up. And we all know how easily children are led down these paths. And we've heard the stories. So it's extremely cynical. But then you get what EA have to say about it, which contradicts this. If you look in here, FIFA Ultimate Team is the cornerstone. We are doing everything we can to drive players there. Remember that, because this is what they say in their document or their piece that they release to try and refute the article by CBC. And this is what they say. And I'm not going to read it all, but I'll just read you some snippets. We do not push people to spend in our games. Where we provide that choice, we are very careful not to promote spending over earning, whatever the hell that means. What does spending over earning? What do you actually earn in the game? Nothing. Not really. Nothing of any real note. Anyway, earning. What? Earning? They make it sound like a bloody job. And the majority of FIFA players never spend money on in-game items. Really? Well, given how much they're actually making then, if the majority aren't spending, they're obviously getting most of their money from people who are in effect problem gamblers. And they are encouraging that. FIFA Ultimate Team is the cornerstone, and we are doing everything to drive players there. We don't push people to spend in our games. We are doing everything we can to drive players there. I know I keep going backwards and forwards, but it's important. They say, nothing in the leaked documents contradicts this in any way. It shows how we are supporting engagement in our game during the summer period, not spending. FIFA Ultimate Team includes spending, and it's made difficult and grindy in order to push you into spending. We all know this, don't we? EA, quite simply, are lying here. It's a bit like, what is it they called it? We don't call them loot boxes, we call them surprise mechanics. I mean, come on, really? It's the most disingenuous bullshit I've ever heard in my life. But anyway, let's get on. We don't encourage young players to spend in our games, and we strongly recommend the use of family controls to manage the content that children are allowed to access, their ability to spend in games, and how much time they can play. Right, this again gets my goat, and I've heard other people talking about this as well. Family controls. Basically, let's just cut through the crap here and talk about what they're actually saying here. Let me rephrase it for you. We don't think that we have responsibility for this. It's the family that should take responsibility. That's what they're saying. And if you have looked, and I've made videos about the child controls in video games, if you look at them, they're needlessly complicated at times and very difficult for your average punter to understand. Bloody hell, a lot of the time I don't understand them, and I make videos about video games. So come on, EA. The best that can be said about this is that you're being disingenuous. And then this one really gets my goat. Recently, a US federal court judge dismissed a related case, noting that the lack of any real-world transferable value to items takes them outside of the gambling laws. And this is such disingenuous crap, because we've seen in other countries outside of the US that these things have been deemed as gambling. And there was a House of Commons committee where they said that they don't believe in them being loot boxes. They call them surprise mechanics, which was looking into the whole idea of these things as gambling. And they may well fall outside the current definition of gambling in some instances, but that just means we need to redefine it. Personally, I don't think we need to redefine it at all. If you're spending money on something and you've got an undetermined outcome, that is a form of gambling. You can call it what the hell you like, bloody surprise mechanics, anything you like. Come up with any kind of euphemistic bullshit you like. It's gambling. And then they're really, really condescending. We hope to see these facts more accurately represented in the future. Accurately represented in the future. Here we go. FIFA Ultimate Team is the cornerstone, and we are doing everything we can to drive players there. FIFA Ultimate Team is the cornerstone, and we are doing everything we can to drive players there. Why? Why? Because, if I can find it, they are making billions. 1.49 billion US in 2020 from loot boxes in its sports titles alone. We are doing everything we can to drive players there. We hope to see these facts more accurately represented in the future. Yeah, I'll tell you what's more accurate. That you are driving players towards FIFA Ultimate Team because you know that you can screw them out of more money by doing that than having general gameplay and making your games better. I made a video 3 years ago now, I think, saying that FIFA had become, well, basically a complete waste of time because the only thing they were interested in was FIFA Ultimate Team. And they say it quite clearly there. The team is squarely focused on engaging current players. Players will be actively messaged and incentivized to convert throughout the summer. They are interested only in FIFA Ultimate Team in FIFA because that's where all the money is. And they do not care that the fact of the matter is that 3-year-olds and up are playing these games. It's cynical, it's manipulative, it's disingenuous when they say this crap about hoping that the facts are more accurately represented in the future. They are screwing people over and they know exactly what they are doing. And I, for one, am sick of it. And you should be too. Anyway, I've gone on long enough. I'll speak to you in the next one. Bye.